Hello students, this is the second part of chemical reaction and equation. In this chapter, we will learn types of chemical reactions. So there are some points. During a chemical reactions, atoms of one element do not change into those of others element, nor do atoms disappear from the mixture or appear from elsewhere. Actually, chemical reaction involve the breaking and making of bonds between atoms to produce new substances. Like there are some chemical reaction. The first one is combination reaction. In this reaction we can see that there are two reactant. The first one is A and the second one is B, and both the reactant react and makes a single product which names AB. For example, we can see here hydrogen and oxygen. There are two gases which is reactant, hydrogen and oxygen. After reaction they will make water. So here we can see that there are two molecules of hydrogen gas and one molecule of oxygen gas, and after reaction they will give two molecule of H2O. Actually they will mix 2 H2O in the liquid form. Now the second one is decomposition reaction. In this we can see that a single reactant will break into products like NaCl. In this diagram you can see that NaCl will break into products. The first one is Cl and the second one is Na. Cl means chlorine and Na is sodium. For some other example we can see here 2AgCl, which is in solid state, will break in two different products. The first one is 2Ag plus Cl2, in which Ag is silver and Cl is chlorine. Silver in solid state while chlorine in gaseous form. Is that clear? Now third reaction. The third reaction is displacement reaction. What is the displacement reaction? In this reaction we can see that there are some compound and it will change its element to the other reactant. Like for example, there is Pb plus Cu Cl2. Now we can see that chlorine is with copper, so it is known as copper chloride. But after the reaction we can see that chlorine will combine with Pb and Cu will alone. So it means that Pb plus CuCl2 makes PbCl2 plus Cu, in which PbCl2 in the aqueous form while Cu in the solid form. Now D, which is double displacement reaction. In this reaction we can see that there are two different reactant. The first one is Na2SO4 and the other one is BaCl2. After the reaction they will change their element, like BaSO4 plus 2NaCl. In the reactant portion we can see that Na has sulfate and Ba has chloride form, but after the reaction Ba has sulfate while sodium has chloride. Okay, so this is known as double displacement reaction. Now the last one, oxidation and reduction. In oxidation and reduction the example is ZnO plus C makes Zn plus Co, in which we can see that Zn oxide will reduce oxygen and give it to the carbon. That's why Zn is known as reduced and carbon is known as oxidized. In such kind of reaction these are known as redox reactions. So now we will understand all these reactions in detail. So here the first one is combination reaction. So what is the definition of combination reaction? When two or more substances combine to form a single product, the reactions are called combination reaction. For example, we can see here calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water to produce slaked lime, which is also known as calcium hydroxide, releasing a large amount of heat. For example, CaO in the solid form plus H2O in the liquid form makes CaOH whole twice in aqueous form. So here we can see that CaO is quicklime while CaOH whole twice is slaked lime. So after this reaction, quicklime will converted into slaked lime. A solution of slaked lime is used for whitewashing walls. Calcium hydroxide reacts slowly with the carbon dioxide in air to form a thin layer of calcium carbonate on the wall. For this example, we can see the reaction CaOH whole twice in aqueous form plus CO2 in the gaseous form makes CaCO3 plus H2O. So what is CaCO3? It is calcium carbonate. And calcium carbonate is formed after 2 to 3 days of whitewashing and gives a shiny finish to the walls. The interesting fact is that the chemical formula is also CaCO3. Now let us discuss some more examples of combination reaction. The first one is burning of coal. In this reaction, we can see that carbon react with oxygen and makes CO2. In this reaction, carbon is in solid state while oxygen is a gas, and after the reaction they will make CO2, which is known as carbon dioxide, also in the gaseous form. Now, second example, formation of water. In this, there are 2 molecules of hydrogen and single molecule of oxygen makes water. So the reaction will be 2H2 plus O2 makes 2H2O. In this reaction, both the reactants are in the gaseous form while the product in the liquid form. Now there is an important point, exothermic chemical reaction. Reaction in which heat is released along with the formation of product are called exothermic केमिकल रिएक्शन. इट मीन्स जब रिएक्शन होती है तो रिएक्शन के होने के बाद प्रोडक्ट बनता है, पर कुछ रिएक्शन में प्रोडक्ट बनने के साथ साथ हीट भी रिलीज होती है. तो वो रिएक्शंस जिनमें प्रोडक्ट बनने के साथ साथ हीट रिलीज होती है एक्सोथर्मिक केमिकल रिएक्शंस कहलाते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, burning of natural gases. Here we can see the equation CH4 plus 2O2 makes CO2 plus 2H2O, in which CH4 is methane gas, react with oxygen gas and create or occurs CO2 plus H2O. It means both the gases reacted and makes carbon dioxide gas as well as water. The second reaction, do you know that respiration is an exothermic process? So we will see. We all know that we need energy to stay alive. We get this energy from the food we eat. During digestion, food is broken down into simpler substances. For example, rice, potato and bread contains carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates are broken down to form glucose, and this glucose combine with oxygen in the cell of our body and provide energy, because when we inhale oxygen it will goes to our body and react with this glucose and makes carbon dioxide, water and energy, and that carbon dioxide gas we will exhale. Okay, so this is also known as respiration. The special name of this reaction is respiration. Here we can see the chemical reaction. C6H12O6 in the aqueous form plus 6O2 in the aqueous form makes 6CO2 plus 6H2O plus energy, and this energy will be in the form of ATP. Okay. Now third one is the decomposition of vegetable matter into compost is also an example of an exothermic reaction. Okay, so these are the exothermic chemical reaction. Now second one is decomposition reaction. A single reactant breaks down to give simpler product. This is a decomposition reaction. For example, ferrous sulfate crystal lose water when heated and the color of the crystal change. It then decomposes to ferric oxide, sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide. Ferric oxide is a solid while SO2 and SO3 are gases. So here we will see the decomposition of ferrous sulfate. 2FeSO4 in the solid state give product Fe2O3 plus SO2 plus SO3. Here you can see that after the arrow I write heat. What is the heat? In the presence of heat this reaction will be occur. Okay, and we will write heat above or below the. Now second reaction, decomposition of calcium carbonate to calcium oxide and carbon dioxide on heating is an important decomposition reaction used in various industries. Chemical oxide is called lime or quicklime. It has many uses. One is in the manufacture of cement, like CaCO3 in the presence of heat gives CaO in the solid form and CO2 in the gaseous form. So this is the decomposition of calcium carbonate. Now decomposition of calcium carbonate. So in this reaction we can see that limestone will decomposes in quicklime. Now there is an important point, thermal decomposition. When a decomposition reaction is carried out by heating, it is called thermal decomposition. For example, 2PbNO3 whole twice in the solid form gives, in the presence of heat, it will gives 2PbO, which is lead oxide, plus 4NO2, which is nitrogen dioxide, plus O2 oxygen. So the decomposition of lead nitrate gives lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. Now in the presence of sunlight, there are some reactions which occur in the presence of sunlight. White silver chloride turns grey in sunlight. This is due to the decomposition of silver chloride into silver and chlorine by light. So there are example, 2AgCl in solid form, and in the presence of sunlight it will decomposes in chloride, like 2AgCl gives 2Ag plus Cl2. Okay, so this is in the presence of sunlight. There was another reaction, silver bromide also behaves in the same way, like 2AgBr gives 2Ag plus Br2. The above reactions are used in black and white photography. Okay, so these reactions are also used in black and white photography. Now there is a question. The question is, what form of energy is causing these decomposition reactions? We have seen that the decomposition reactions occur energy either in the form of heat, light or electricity for breaking down the reactants. Reaction in which energy is absorbed are known as endothermic reaction. Okay, these are known as endothermic reaction. Now the third one is displacement reaction. The following chemical reactions take place in this activity. The first one is Fe in the solid state plus CuSO4 in the aqueous state makes FeSO4 plus Cu. Okay, so the copper sulfate will converted in the iron sulfate. There is another example, Pb plus CuCl2 makes PbCl2 plus Cu. In this reaction, copper chloride converted into lead chloride and there was copper in the solid form. So zinc and lead are more reactive element than copper, so they displace copper from its compound. Okay, they can displace copper from its compound. Now, double displacement reaction. A white substance which is insoluble in water is formed. This insoluble substance formed is known as precipitate. Any reaction that produces a precipitate can be called as precipitation reactions. So here we can see that Na2SO4 in the aqueous form plus BaCl2 is also in the aqueous form gives BaSO4 plus 2NaCl. So sodium sulfate and barium chloride react to each other and gives barium sulfate and sodium chloride. What causes this? The white precipitate of BaSO4 is formed by the reaction of 2SO4 and Ba2+. The other product formed is sodium chloride, which remains in the solution. Such reaction in which there is an exchange of ions. Okay, there is an exchange of ions between the reactant are called double displacement reactions. Okay, now the next one is oxidation and reduction. Heat a china dish containing about 1 gram copper powder. What do you observe? The surface of copper powder becomes coated with black copper oxide. Why has this black substance formed? This is because oxygen is added to copper and copper oxide is formed. For example, we can see the reaction 2Cu plus O2 makes 2CuO in the presence of heat. If hydrogen gas is passed over this heated material, the black coating on the surface turns brown. Okay, so this black coating will be turns into brown as the reverse reaction takes place and copper is obtained. For this, we can understand with the reaction CuO plus H2O, where we can see that there is a copper oxide and hydrogen gas. After the reaction, there will be Cu plus H2O. It means the oxide of copper will be reduced and hydrogen will be oxidized. Here we can see that if a substance gain oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be oxidized, and if a substance loses oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be reduced. It means during this reaction, the copper oxide is losing oxygen and is being reduced, while the hydrogen is gaining oxygen, so it being oxidized. In other words, one reactant get oxidized while the other gets reduced during a reaction. Such reactions are also known as redox reaction or oxidation reduction reaction. There is the example we can clearly see in this diagram that Cu will be reduced oxygen and hydrogen will be oxidized by getting oxygen atoms. So it will be CuO plus H2 makes Cu plus H2O. There are some more reactions ZnO plus C, in which Zn will be reduced oxygen and carbon will be oxidized oxygen atoms. So the reaction will be ZnO plus C, which makes Zn plus CO. Similarly, there are one more reaction MnO2 plus 4HCl, which makes MnCl2 plus 2H2O plus Cl2. Here also Mn reduced oxygen and hydrogen get oxidized. So these are the types of. If you like this video, then share it with your friend and also subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.